Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning. KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Out to Maria Espinoza joining us from the Remembrance Project. Maria, good to have you with us once again.
Good to be with you, Kevin. Thanks so much.
You know, we hear so much from the national media about what's going on the border. They're flooding the zone. The president talking about the illegals, shipping them off to sanctuary cities. What are you hearing?
Well, I'm hearing the same thing, and it's and for some time, the Border Patrol agents have been overwhelmed. You know, as you know, they've called for more manpower, the technology and infrastructure in a wall system. And I think I like the idea that President Trump has in sending these detainees into the sanctuary cities. I mean, these are the policies that they impose upon us. But, you know, obviously they don't stand by it.
Indeed. Let's go back to just this border thing. You've been covering this for years. You've been helping families. What do you make of this, that all of a sudden we have these people that are being funded by, whether it's a Soros group, whether it's the group out of Chicago that Glenn Beck's talking about? I mean, one just doesn't, just don't go from Honduras or El Salvador or Panama to the United States of America without a cost. I don't know how you would define this nefarious move going on.
Well, I think we have a couple things going on. I think there's a lot going on in stopping the policies that will benefit Americans, all Americans, regardless of political affiliation, by the way, by this president and taking care of our country. And we have known for years, Kevin, that there was an intentional recruiting, if you will, of foreign nationals to come to the border. And as you saw even earlier this year, where Nancy Pelosi and Schumer got together and they basically laid out the welcome mat and said, we're not going to give this president $1 for a wall to protect our borders. That's a big signal for anyone who wants to come here. And we know and have known that the cartels control the entire southern border. And they're part in cahoots with some of these organizations to bring these individuals here. I mean, you don't have 3 express buses coming from Central America straight to our southern border alone. That is organized. It's helping. You can see in some of the videos are handing out cash. We have seen this for several years. Not to this extent, however. This is an all-out full-court press on our border.
Well, and then we have just the pictures and the press and, the propaganda going on. But you have these people that there's nowhere for them to go. And really, it goes down to the whole asylum loophole that President Obama came up with several years ago.
Exactly. All this is orchestrated, and it's by design. It just has not happened. And this, in my opinion, this is a takeover our country. And look, this is our 10th year with the Remembrance Project, and my husband and I, we were not politically active. The extent was going and voting, and that was it. But when we heard about sanctuary city policies in Houston, my father came here the right way. And, we wanted to do something about it. And we did our research. It took us, a year and a half at least to even get a website up. So we were very green, but we've learned very quickly that this is by design. And we've watched you mentioned President Obama. He created the president's office, the White House Task Force for New Americans, in which he enlisted about 14 different departments in the federal government to assist illegal aliens here. All this has been going on since under Obama. And you mentioned those loopholes. Those are loopholes that can be stopped right away, but the failures of the GOP in getting rid of those and going along, simply taking the blood money from these special interest lobbyists. So there's a lot going on in our country that people don't even see. I mean, I look out here in my community, and I don't see what I'm talking about, but I know it's there. The media doesn't cover it. It barely scrapes the surface, even with Fox News, of what's really taking place. These are policies that have been put in place, and these politicians refuse to remove them. All the while, our country is being overwhelmed and flooded with foreign nationals, and really the other countries are sending their most undesirables.
Maria Espinoza joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. She's with the Remembrance Project. You know, we take a look at this. How do you respond to people, Maria, that criticize you, that criticize me, that say we're heartless, that everyone in the world is entitled to come to America and we should be paying for their free ride?
Well, it's pretty basic. America has laws. We have our U.S. Constitution. We have our special form of government. So this is how we choose to live. And I think that if these socialists, far left socialists, are in office right now, if they like socialism, they should live in Venezuela, see how they like it. But we are unique, and we have borders. We have our property. If we want to minimize that whole overlook down into our own lives, we have our property. We have our doors, our walls, and we do that for a reason. We take care of our own. We have our own responsibilities, and this is how we run our household. We don't go next door and tell them, you've got to cut down your rose bushes because I don't like them. We have our own property lines, just as we have our own country lines, and they run their country the way they like to. And if they like the way America is run, and they like all these wonderful resources and civil community for the most part, because we do have our own crimes, obviously, then they should emulate, not try to come over and take over. And as you can see, we have pockets in the United States where, and I'll go ahead and go out on this, where Sharia law is trying to be implemented. That is not our system of government. And people who are here in the United States absolutely should follow our laws and not bring in and expect us to conform to their way of living or their beliefs.
Maria Espinoza joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Let's take a look at why, what are the simple solutions that continue to be ignored?
Simple solutions, Kevin, is sitting right here in front of us. We have our U.S. Constitution, and all laws should conform to our Constitution. We have laws, and these types of sanctuary city laws that we've created are wrong. And we have our U.S. Code, our criminal code. I think these sanctuary city mayors and sanctuary state governors, like Governor Newsom, I strongly believe that that they're not above the law. They should be prosecuted. Under U.S. Code Title 8, Section 1324, you do not aid and abet illegal aliens. A man here in Houston who assisted an illegal alien come back across the border spent 6 months in jail. The illegal alien he assisted to come back illegally into the country had killed Rodney Johnson, a Houston police officer. So again, these public officials, they should not have the administrative immunity that they claim. We have to be serious of whether or not we want a lawful country or a lawless country. Do we want safe communities where we can raise our families and feel safe going to the park or walking down the street or going to the store and running our business? That's what is in danger right now. Simple. Follow the law, follow our U.S. Constitution, and demand that these public officials, public servants, adhere to their own oaths.
Maria, what do you make here on KIDO Talk Radio? What do you make of the president's reshuffling his Homeland Security Secretary and a few others?
I think he knows best. He's there. I have met Kristen Nielsen a few times, a nice lady. However, if the job isn't being done that he needs to be done to protect our country, he certainly needs to bring someone in who will do that job. And I'm not saying that she doesn't take it seriously, but, nice is not going to cut it. We've got to be able to rely on our officials to protect this country.
Maria, if people would like more information about the Remembrance Project, what can they do?
They can go to our website, theremembranceproject.org, theremembranceproject.org, and we are looking for chapter leaders and surrogates in your state as well, Kevin. So if anyone is interested, please email to Melissa at theremembranceproject.org.
All right, Maria, thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right, bye-bye. Phone number's 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Yesterday, we shared this with you. It's so good. It's so audio-wise delicious. I have to share it with you once again.
We could fix that in so fast if the Democrats would agree. But if they don't agree, we might as well do what they always say they want. We'll bring the illegal, really you call them the illegals. I call them the illegals. They came across the border illegally. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it.
Well, he has a point there. Now you have Mayor de Blasio of New York and others saying, we're not going to allow that. It's illegal. Well, wait, wait a minute. They're coming to the country illegally. They're overwhelming our borders and our walls and everything else. And then you have the audacity to say that the president. Now, let me get this straight because I'm not a bright individual here on KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. So let me get this straight. We have people that are breaking federal law, elected officials, some law enforcement in these sanctuary cities that should be prosecuted for breaking the law. We have the illegals coming in, breaking the law. You have people helping, aiding, and abetting the illegals. So you have the president, and by the way, I heard on Sean Hannity's show last night on KIDO Talk Radio that there's nothing illegal about putting them on buses and sending them to these illegal sanctuaries. President Trump is just simply brilliant.
We could fix that in so fast if the Democrats would agree. But if they don't agree, we might as well do what they always say they want. We'll bring the illegal, really you call them the illegals. I call them the illegals. They came across the border illegally. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it.
I mean, he's the only one making sense. We've got the illegal mayors, the illegal governors, the illegals wanting to live illegally. Well, let's send them to the illegal places. What's wrong with that? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. The crisis on the border continues.
We could fix that in so fast if the Democrats would agree. But if they don't agree, we might as well do what they always say they want. We'll bring the illegal, really you call them the illegals. I call them the illegals. They came across the border illegally. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it.
They'll have an illegal good time. Before we get to that, here's a crazy story out of Alabama. You ever notice the state of Alabama, there's just a bunch of craziness going on? Investigators in Alabama say a man who shot himself and his child did so accidentally, having the gun in a diaper bag, according to Eben Brown.
Police in a Birmingham, Alabama suburb say a man getting ready to change his daughter's diaper didn't realize his gun was in the diaper bag and probably accidentally touched it and made it fire, shooting himself in the chest and the baby in the leg. The girl's wound is minor, but the father is in serious condition. The pair were outside a Chuck E. Cheese pizzeria in their car when it happened. No charges are being filed. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Well, let's hope that young father gets better and he's around for his young daughter. Back to your phone calls. KIDO Talk Radio time, 8:23. We're joined by the Sweet Prince, the ever so sweet prince of the Treasure Valley. He's a gem. Tea Party Bob. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. Another great show. You've had many interesting topics this morning. I'd like to make a couple of important points on several of them. After analyzing FBI data for 24 cities in Idaho, I must tell you that the most dangerous city is Garden City. Pocatello is second, and Blackfoot is third. Napa's only sixth, and Boise City eighth. And the three best places to live are Meridian, Eagle, and Star. Fortunately, we have some of the best law enforcement in Meridian, for that matter, in the Treasure Valley in general. But they can't stop all the crimes, which, as you said earlier, is up to the public to be aware and able to protect themselves. Fortunately, we have laws that allow us to carry open and concealed without a permit, which gives us more protection than many other places in the country. I would also agree that there is more danger when we're in large groups of people and when they're assembled, especially at churches. You know, many churches in the Treasure Valley have instituted trained armed members to protect their congregations from dangers of lone wolves who would want to do harm to those practicing their faith.
What do you say to churches that haven't done that?
Say that again?
What would you say to churches that haven't done that?
Call me and I'll put them in the right place. I will tell them who to talk to because we have...
No, that don't believe in that.
Churches.
That don't believe in that.
I would say you are leaving your people in harm's way. We don't know what's going to happen nowadays. We live in dangerous times. And I certainly would encourage anybody who has a large congregation to make sure that they're protected. We even do it for our choir practices and events that go on at the church. On the fire at Notre Dame, we should be wary of the fake news, which is going to keep us from learning if the fire of Notre Dame was an accident or something. That was a nefarious act by some radical group, and if it was, they're not going to fan the fires of violence and retribution. And just a word about the doc who called in on marijuana this morning, who did not distinguish the difference between marijuana and hemp. He's entitled to his opinion on medical marijuana, but he needs to do some more research, as my friend Max does, as I believe both are just more of the medical community's drones who have done little or no research on the subject and should educate themselves as to the many medicinal benefits of derivatives like CBD oil made from hemp, which have been proven to have medical applications. The United States federal government holds a patent for non-psychoactive cannabinoids, and the most popular being CBD as a treatment for specific illnesses. The patent number 6630507, titled Cannabinoids and Antioxidants and Neuroprotectants, issued on October 7th,
All right, we're getting into the weeds here when we start breaking this stuff down.
All right, just tell Max, look it up.
You're telling Max right now he's listening. By the way, it looks as if
wake up.
You and your pro-hempster posse will not roll over us. We are the watchers on the wall.
You eventually are going to roll over. CBD oil is something that needs to be brought into the state. And if you bring the hemp into the state, it's going to create $1 billion industry.
No, it isn't.
There's no reason not to do it.
It's not.
Oh yeah, it will.
They've already admitted that because so many states are legalizing the hemp, the cost is going to go down. So you're not going to get the 50 or 60 grand an acre anymore. It's over.
It doesn't matter if you get 30 or 40,000 an acre. It's still big money.
It'll be down to 10
soon. It's more than you're
soon.
going to get from a corn crop, a cotton crop, a potato crop, any of those crops.
I don't know about that. I'm not a crop picker, but thank you.
You're very welcome.
How many years of experience have you had picking crops?
I've had more experience picking other things.
You've had more experience than me, which doesn't say much, but yes. Duly noted, sir.
But I do my homework.
That makes one of us. Thank you, Tea Party Bob.
Have a great day, my friend.
Our great friend, Tea Party Bob, GemStatePatriot.com. Traffic and weather together. Let's get you to work safely and on time. KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dave. Back to the phones. We go to Pro-Life, who joins us now with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pro-Life.
Yeah. Hey, Article 4, Section 4 of the Federal Constitution says that the federal government shall protect the states from invasion. Now, nobody quotes that, and they don't use it, but that's what Trump needs to do. He just needs to say, hey, we're having an invasion because we are. It's obviously a big invasion. He needs to say that there's not going to be any more asylum at the gate and put military clear across the border, shut it all down, and it'd be over, just a few days. We wouldn't have any more of this problem. And I'm disappointed in him. I think he's wimping out. I think he's being a wimpy Republican. He's big talk, but he should do what I'm saying. And, of course, the media would really throw a fit, and all the Democrats would, and they'd say they're going to impeach him. And, well, maybe they'd try even, but it wouldn't work.
Maybe they should impeach you.
Yeah. I need to be impeached.
You like that?
I like that word, peach. I should have a peach tree, but I do have one. But anyway, now medical marijuana is a good thing. Recreational marijuana is bad. And that's about all you have
You're
to
going to
say.
have to pick a side, pro-life.
No, that is a side.
The upcoming war is coming, pro-life. Whose side are you going to be on?
Well, I'm not going to be on the government side if they're saying that we're going to tax marijuana.
Of course they're going to tax it.
And we're going to have marijuana, and we're going to tax it, and we're going to give it to the schools and do a bunch of supposedly good from something that's bad. Now, that is really ridiculous. So that's about all I got to say about that. But
Well,
President Trump, he needs to get his head turned on right. He's just
what do you mean getting his head turned on right?
He could stop this.
Look, he just said this the other day.
We could fix that in so fast if the Democrats would agree. But if they don't agree, we might as well do what they always say they want. We'll bring the illegal, really you call them the illegals. I call them the illegals. They came across the border illegally. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it.
Those are Kevin?
Pro-life?
Yeah, those are criminal cities. They're not asylum cities.
Well, send the criminals there. God bless pro-life. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Maggie. And taking more of your phone calls, Jeff Manasso joins us, Fox News Radio, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
Good to have you with us. So here we have it. Some people are upset about the vice president invited to give the commencement speech. Seems like a big honor.
Yeah, well, Taylor University, it's an evangelical school with about 2,000 or so undergraduate students, announcing last week that Vice President Mike Pence had accepted an invitation to speak at its commencement ceremony in mid-May, which immediately drew backlash from a sizable group of current and former students who disagree, and they came up with a petition that about 3,000 or so have already signed. The petition states, inviting Vice President Mike Pence to Taylor University is giving him a coveted platform for his political views, which makes our alumni, facility, staff, and current students complicit in the Trump-Pence administration's policies, which we believe are not consistent with the Christian ethic of love we hold dear. That is what the petition states that the students have signed. Now, there is no plans that we've heard from the vice president's office that he is going to walk away or back out of this commencement speech.
Well, it seems odd, since considering that Pence is such a devout Christian and has been in the evangelical community for many, many years.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's no stranger to dissent during visits to college campuses. And you remember in 2017, he delivered the commencement address at Notre Dame, in which is a Catholic institution, and a group of graduating students walked out in protest of the administration's policies. But critics of this particular case that we're talking about at Taylor University say that this is not about religion. It's more about social, justice warriors going off script. So, and this is really, it's not like we haven't seen situations like this in college campuses around the country. We've seen them a lot. In fact, on Monday, the university, or Texas State University, the student government there, they voted to ban Turning Point USA. It's a conservative group. Speaker Candace Owens. But this is a student government issue, and the university has no authority to they have no authority to rule on what the school is going to do, and you know what President Trump with his signature on a executive order that requires colleges and universities to uphold the First Amendment or risk losing federal research funding. I mean, that's a big deal to college campuses across the country, so they're trying to be very careful.
I would say, Vice President, does he continue to plan to go there?
Yeah, well, like I said, we haven't heard anything in terms of him backing out of this because of some, students and current alumni who, don't want to see him there. So I think, as far as we know right now, he continues to go. But he took a lot of flack for that Religious Freedom Restoration Act when he was governor in Indiana that he signed, that basically allows individuals and companies to assert as a defense in legal proceedings that they're able to exercise their religious freedoms and religious rights, and so this is something that he's dealt with for quite some time, and he's, as you mentioned, he's a devout Christian, devout Catholic, and he's going to do what he does, and this is just posturing, according to many who oppose what these students are doing at Taylor University.
Jeff Monosso, anything else going on this week?
Depends on where we're going. Were we talking about news? We talking about sports?
News.
I guess there might be some sort of report that might be dropped on Thursday.
Right.
That might be a big deal. We'll see about that. The
right.
joke in the bureaus, Kevin, is should we even show up? Because Washington's going to take all the oxygen out of the air, and so it's going to be all Mueller report all the time, and the back and forths between Democrats and Republicans. It's going to be a busy news day Thursday.
Indeed, Jeff Monosso, we always appreciate you. Stay out of trouble, brother.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, our great friend Jeff Monosso. Here's something that if you're going to college, if you're thinking about going to college. Not a good movement for you, but here we have it. We have Boise State, Idaho State, Lewis and Clark State. They're all raising their tuition. Now, one of the things that I love about this show is it's not your stereotypical talk show. We have a dialogue. At least when we succeed, or when I succeed in convincing you to yap, we have a dialogue. So listening to the news from Channel 7 right here on KIDO Talk Radio, you heard Maggie say that now Boise State, didn't Boise State use eminent domain to get the land for their stadium, their baseball stadium? Now, again, please help me with this. So let's go over everything. We have a record number of wrestlers in the Treasure Valley, in the high schools, that are going to go to Division I colleges. It was a great year for high school wrestlers, right? But Boise State, the People's University, the little underdog that could, got rid of wrestling because wrestling's not making any money. Is softball making any money? Are women gymnastics making any money? Well, no, Kevin Miller, but by gosh, golly wish, blah, 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 blah. It's Title IX. We have to have those programs. Women's basketball, very successful. Is it making money? Men's basketball, is it making money? I would argue that all those programs are loss leaders except for football. So help me with this scenario. Boise State gets rid of wrestling. They're going to spend $1 million or $2 million that they don't have to fund a baseball team, that they don't have a place to stay at or play at. So they're going to use the Hawks facility, but they don't like the Hawks facility. In fact, no one likes the Hawks facility. They want to move it out of Garden City. And I'm sure Mayor Evans is really happy about that, to a brand new palatial downtown stadium in Boise that most of the people don't want, except for the mayor and the people that could directly benefit by having a downtown stadium. So Boise State said, no, we're going to do our own thing. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. And from what I hear, the university, including the cash cow, the football program, is looking for money. You've had a lot of people that have transitioned out of that program, and you have a lot of people that are successful that aren't giving money to this program. Now, I'm not bashing. I'm just trying to figure this out. So then we're going to move all that money to a downtown stadium that, thanks to House Majority Leader Mike Moyle and the people that voted for that urban renewal boondoggle bill, will wipe out. It'll have to come to a vote. at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And then we're going to raise tuition. Now, can somebody justify the tuition raises? And look, I was one of those guys, worked my way through college. At the end, I had some help from my mom, but most of the time, I worked my way through college. You know, people say, well, how did you get accepted to your college? They accepted my check. They took the payment. Those were the good old days, right? Because in the end, it really doesn't matter where you go to school. To me, it doesn't matter where you go to school. It's called the school of hard knocks. It's called the school of work. So you have these good people that are going to Idaho, Idaho State, Boise State, Lewis and Clark, and now their tuition goes up. Can you tell me, like, when they have, when you get a new car, they put new technology in there, right? So you're paying for the flashers that happen, or the rear view camera, or something else. What justifies the increase in tuition, except to further indebt children? You talk about a ticking time bomb, not only millennials, Gen Xers, baby boomers. People are paying off their mortgages and still have student loan debt. Conservative Steve, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning, sir.
How are you doing, my friend?
Living the dream. Happy to talk to you.
Oh, you're a good man. No, I just was going to throw in a little, the wrestling program, the girls softball, the whatever programs they have. You know, the thing is Boise State was probably one of the only football teams in the Mountain West that did not have a baseball program, Division I. Also, prior to that, Kevin, there were 10 or 12 baseball players from the Treasure Valley prior to them announcing a baseball team that did exactly what you said. There was nowhere to play baseball, so they went to LSU, they went to Division I schools, Washington, UW, everywhere, all over the country, because there was no place to play baseball. So I think, and look, the bottom line is, Kevin, you're never going to be a pro softball player. You're never going to be a pro wrestler. But you can be a pro baseball player and a pro football player, etc. And I think on that perspective, because look how many pro football players have come out of Boise State in the pros, NFL. And there's potential for guys to go into the MLB, man, out of baseball. It's just that simple. I think when they come down to weigh in the consequences, they chose the baseball because it would fit into their Mountain West program, I believe, with that potential. Now, this is just my opinion, my friend. I'm certainly not from looking at it, in that direction. So if that helps any, and as far as them finding a place to, and as far as eminent domain, Kevin, that happens everywhere, and that's the rights that the cities have. That's the option that they can pull. They have to give you market value of your property. And just like us, if they want to widen the road through our front yard, Kevin, or our back alley, they can do it. They have eminent domain of any property you have. So they have that option, and it's the law. And, is it right at times? Probably not. But that's how they grow, any university and any shopping center or anything. Right now in California, they're putting that stupid train track through friends of mine's farmland because somebody wants to ride a train across California, billions of dollars for a train, and there's no passengers on it. What a concept, huh?
Now, well, okay, let's keep going with this, Conservative Steve. It looks like the stadium's fallen through, so now they want to partner with the city of Boise, and pretty much... Yeah. People in the city of Boise don't want a stadium. The mayor does.
Yeah. Well, I think what's happening, though, Kevin, if you research it a little, from what I've heard, it's more than just a stadium. It's going to accommodate all kinds of sport activity as well as entertainment, concerts, soccer teams traveling. I mean, this is a multifaceted, from what I'm gathering, this is a multifaceted complex, not just an old boring baseball field like Hawk Stadium per se. This is going to have multiple use properties. So I think I've even heard shopping on the top, stores. I mean, they're looking at this as a developmental thing that's going to accommodate lots of things. So that's what I've heard anyway. So, just throwing it out there.
Well, you throw it out there anytime, conservative Steve.
And I'm just trying. I'm not trying to be descending. I'm just trying to gather all the facts, and I think what's happening is there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are trying to figure out, where the money's spent the best.
If it's so good, then you don't need the taxpayer money to finance it.
Well, and that that goes for everything, Kevin. I mean, every time I turn around, my property tax is going up.
Sure.
I mean, they just built the thing in Cascade, an indoor swimming pool facility and a gym in Cascade, and my taxes just went up on my little humble little chunk of land up there with nothing fancy. So I just got another tax increase because I'm paying for the people who want to swim indoor when the weather's too cold. So that's just how it works, man. When you're involved in a city planning or you're involved in a city, everybody takes the hit. And that's why Nancy Pelosi's squirming right now. Change the subject, but I hope Trump sends them to those cities. We'll see how embracing they are and how inclusive they are. So,
good point, conservative Steve. Thank you.
Hey, you have a great day, my friend. Keep up the good work. I love what you do. We pray for you every day, my friend.
Humbled by that. God bless.
All right, you as well.
580-5436, 580-KIDO.
We could fix that in so fast if the Democrats would agree. But if they don't agree, we might as well do what they always say they want. We'll bring the illegal, really you call them the illegals. I call them the illegals. They came across the border illegally. We'll bring them to sanctuary city areas and let that particular area take care of it.
Your reaction next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Waking up on the right side. Kevin Miller in the morning. Let's go to the phones. Robert in Boise. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, how's it going today?
Living the dream, brother. And you?
Good. Same here. But one thing I wanted to say about this baseball stadium thing is I don't care if 12 kids from the Valley went scholarships to outside of this area. You have thousands of kids that are going to have to pay for this baseball program here. University of Oregon, read a news article there that they are losing money on their baseball program year after year. Why do the engineering majors and the business majors and the education majors at Boise State need to pay the bill for the stupid baseball program that is going to provide an opportunity for a handful of kids to play baseball in their hometown? It's not a big deal. The city needs to figure this out, that we don't want a stadium. We don't want a baseball state or Boise State baseball team to help pay for it. It's not a good endeavor here. This is our money, and we need to spend it wisely.
What would your message be to them if they would be smart enough to be monitoring this show right now?
Put it out to the voters. I think that's one good way to do it. But the voters need to be educated and informed on what these tax bill monies that they're paying every year, where that money goes to, and what it's being spent on, and what's the return on investment. It's my message is let's take care of the other programs here in the city that we need to focus on, our homeless population, our charitable organizations. The things like that are more important than a stadium. We already have an issue filling up a football stadium year after year, to full attendance. And Hawk Stadium down there, I've been to a few games, and man, you can, for your, $6 ticket there, you can, have an entire row to yourself. It's not like there's a huge draw for this sport. So why are we dumping money into something that's not going to be there in the long term? And then if we build this Boise State stadium right here, what's going to happen when we realize, oh no, this baseball program is a losing endeavor? We've just dumped millions of dollars into this stadium. Now we have to keep this program around just to justify that cost. And then all of the tuition hikes are going to keep on going because we're still going to have to subsidize this money-losing program year after year.
Robert, great call. Dan, hang on quickly. Traffic and weather together. KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dave. Thank you, Larry. Dan, you're going to bring us home on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dan.
Hey, well, since the voters shut down horse racing, why don't we buy LeBlanc? There's already parking there. The people who live around there are already used to loud noises from the other stadium, and I bet we could pick it up for pretty cheap.
I hear LeBois might be on the market. I think Expo Idaho might be on the market from what I'm hearing from my sources as well.
Oh, well, I know it wouldn't be as multi-use as putting it downtown, but I don't think downtown can handle the traffic that they want to bring to that area. So,
oh, that's a great point. And really, is it going to make money?
That's the $1 million question. When they did that last census on it, didn't they say that it wouldn't bring enough money?
Dan, great call. Thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. God bless, sir.
Yep.
Keep it here. Glenn Beck is next. Ray, am I a great job? Fox News now, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.